Hey Aries, I just pulled cards for you about the next 48 hours, and honestly, the energy coming through right now is incredibly intense. There's something massive about to surface, something that's been hidden beneath layers of careful words and half-truths. I'm seeing deception, but not in the way you might think. This isn't necessarily about someone being malicious, but there's definitely information being withheld, and the universe is about to pull back the curtain. If you've been feeling like something's off lately, like there's a conversation happening just outside your awareness, trust that instinct because you're picking up on real energy. The cards are showing me that within the next 48 hours, you're going to have one of those moments where everything suddenly clicks into place and you'll wonder how you didn't see it sooner. The first card that came out is the Seven of Swords, and Aries. This is the deception card in its purest form. When I see this card, I'm looking at someone who's been moving in the shadows, carefully choosing what to reveal and what to keep hidden. This isn't about someone stealing from you in an obvious way, it's more subtle than that. Someone in your immediate circle has been presenting a version of reality that doesn't quite match what's actually happening. Think about the people you've been dealing with recently, especially in professional settings or situations involving shared resources or collaborative efforts. There's someone who's been playing their cards very close to their chest, and while they might justify it as protecting themselves or waiting for the right moment, the truth is their silence or selective sharing is creating an unfair advantage. What's interesting about this energy is that you might have already sensed something's not quite right. Maybe there have been conversations where the other person seemed evasive, or times when you asked direct questions and got answers that technically addressed what you asked, but left out crucial context. The Seven of Swords shows someone who's skilled at this kind of maneuvering. They're not necessarily lying outright, but they're definitely controlling the flow of information. Over the next 48 hours, something is going to slip. Maybe they'll accidentally reveal something they didn't mean to, or maybe you'll get information from another source that contradicts what you've been told. Pay attention to those moments when things don't add up, when someone's explanation feels rehearsed, or when you notice inconsistencies in their story. Your natural Aries directness is going to be your strength here, because while they've been playing chess, you're about to flip the board and demand straight answers. What's really fascinating is the Knight of Pentacles showing up right after that Seven of Swords energy. This knight is methodical, careful, and incredibly persistent. While someone else has been moving fast and playing games, there's an energy around you that's been quietly, steadily working towards something real and tangible. This could be you, Aries, or this could be someone in your corner who's been doing the actual work while others have been talking. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't care about appearances or quick wins. This energy is about building something that lasts, about putting in the daily effort that might not look impressive on social media, but creates real foundation. I'm seeing that whatever deception or hidden agenda gets revealed in the next 48 hours, you're going to be in a position of strength because you've been doing things the right way. While others were cutting corners or playing politics, you've been putting in genuine effort. This night also suggests that the truth is going to come out slowly but surely. It's not going to be one dramatic explosion. It's going to be more like watching a carefully constructed facade slowly crumble as the foundation proves to be unstable. You might notice small cracks first, little things that don't quite make sense, and then as you pull at those threads, bigger revelations will follow. The Knight of Pentacles is advising you to stay grounded during this process. Don't let anger or the desire for immediate confrontation push you into rash action. Document what you're discovering, gather your facts, and build your case methodically. This steady, practical approach is going to serve you much better than any impulsive Aries fire response, as satisfying as that might feel in the moment. Now here's where the reading gets heavier, because the Ten of Wands appeared, and Aries, this tells me you've been carrying a lot. I'm seeing you shouldering responsibilities that honestly aren't all yours to carry. Part of what's been making this deception so effective is that you've been too busy, too overwhelmed with everything on your plate to really stop and examine what's happening around you. When you're constantly putting out fires and managing a million things at once, it's easy for someone to slip something past you or for red flags to go unnoticed because you simply don't have the bandwidth to investigate every little thing that feels off. The Ten of Wands suggests you've been the person holding everything together, possibly in a work situation, possibly in a personal project or family dynamic. You've been so focused on making sure nothing drops, on keeping all these different elements moving forward, that you haven't had the energy to question whether you should be the one carrying all of this in the first place. Over the next 48 hours, as this deception comes to light, you're also going to realize how much of this burden you've been carrying alone while others benefited from your effort. This might actually make you angrier than the deception itself. The realization that while you were breaking your back to keep things going, someone else was playing games or withholding important information that could have made your job easier. The universe is basically saying, enough is enough. It's time to put some of these wands down, time to redistribute this weight more fairly. The revelation that's coming isn't just going to expose deception, it's going to force a restructuring of responsibilities and expectations. Use this moment to really evaluate what you're carrying and whether it's sustainable or even necessary. The Eight of Swords came out next, and this card is giving me chills in this context because it shows me that part of you has felt trapped by this situation without even fully understanding why. The Eight of Swords depicts a figure who's blindfolded and bound, surrounded by swords that seem to create a prison. But here's the thing about this card that most people miss. Those bindings are loose. The swords aren't actually touching the figure. The prison is largely mental and self-created, based on what the person believes to be true rather than what actually is true. Aries, you've been operating under certain assumptions about your situation, about what you can and cannot do, about what's possible and what isn't. Some of these assumptions came from information you were given by the person who's been deceptive. They've benefited from you believing you're more limited than you actually are. In the next 48 hours, as truth starts emerging, you're going to realize that some of the constraints you thought were real are actually illusions. Maybe you thought you needed someone's approval or cooperation for something when actually you have more autonomy than you realized. Maybe you believed a situation was more fragile or complicated than it actually is because someone painted it that way to keep you cautious and compliant. The Eight of Swords is actually a hopeful card because it shows that freedom is available the moment you recognize the bindings aren't as tight as they feel. When the deception is revealed, it's going to be like someone removing that blindfold, and you're going to see your situation with completely fresh eyes. You're going to realize you had more power and more options all along than you were led to believe. Here's where things shift energetically, because the Nine of Pentacles just came through, and Aries, this is your future state after you deal with what's being revealed. The Nine of Pentacles shows someone who's independent, self-sufficient, and enjoying the fruits of their own labor. This is you on the other side of this 48-hour revelation, once you've cleared away the deception and the dead weight. I'm seeing you in a position where you're no longer entangled with people who don't have your best interests at heart, where you've created something that's truly yours and can't be undermined by someone else's games. This card often shows up when someone has learned to value their own company and their own judgment over the approval or involvement of others. You're moving toward a phase where you're going to be very selective about who you let into your space and very clear about the terms of engagement. The Nine of Pentacles person doesn't need to play games because they're secure in what they've built. They don't need to deceive because they're not operating from scarcity or fear. This is the energy you're stepping into. And honestly, the deception that's about to be revealed is actually the universe's way of clearing the path to this more empowered state. Sometimes we need to see clearly who's been undermining us or holding us back before we can fully commit to going it alone or restructuring our relationships. The Nine of Pentacles is saying that your independence and self-reliance are about to level up significantly. And while the revelation might sting initially, it's ultimately freeing you to create something even better on your own terms. The Moon card appeared, and I literally got goosebumps because this confirms everything about deception and hidden truths. But it adds another layer. The Moon isn't just about lies someone else is telling. It's about the lies we tell ourselves and the things we choose not to see because seeing them would require difficult action. Aries, be really honest with yourself over the next 48 hours. When the truth starts coming out, is there a part of you that's going to want to make excuses for it, to minimize it, to convince yourself it's not that bad? The Moon warns against self-deception and wishful thinking. It suggests that on some level, you might have known something was off for a while now, but it was easier to focus on other things, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to tell yourself you were being paranoid or overthinking. The Moon illuminates what's been lurking in the shadows of your consciousness. Those gut feelings you dismissed, those little inconsistencies you noticed but didn't pursue, those moments when someone's words didn't match their energy, all of that was real intuition that you might have talked yourself out of trusting. The next 48 hours are going to validate your instincts in a major way, and the moon is asking you to really honor your intuition going forward. Your subconscious has been picking up on so much more than your conscious mind wanted to acknowledge. This card also suggests that the full truth might not come out all at once. Like the moon itself, which shows us different faces throughout its cycle, this situation is going to reveal itself in phases. What you learn in the next 48 hours might just be the beginning. Stay alert, keep questioning, and don't assume you have the complete picture just because some truth has emerged. There are likely deeper layers still to uncover. Then death showed up, and before you panic, Aries, remember this card is rarely about physical death. It's about transformation, about the absolute ending of one chapter so another can begin. Whatever is revealed in the next 48 hours is going to kill off a version of your reality that you can't go back to. Maybe it's the death of a professional relationship you thought was solid. Maybe it's the end of your trust in someone you relied on. Maybe it's the complete dismantling of a project or plan you'd invested in. Death is uncompromising. It doesn't allow for half measures or partial changes. When death appears, it's saying something has to end completely so that transformation can occur. I know that sounds scary, especially when you're already dealing with deception and betrayal, but here's what's important to understand. The death card only destroys what was already dying, what was built on false foundations, or what has served its purpose and needs to be released. Whatever ends in the wake of this revelation was not sustainable long-term anyway. You might have been able to keep it limping along for a while longer if the truth hadn't come out, but it would have eventually collapsed under its own weight. The universe is actually doing you a favor by forcing this ending now, rather than letting you pour more time, energy, and resources into something that was never going to work out. Death clears the ground completely so new growth can happen. It's composting the old reality to create nutrients for what's next. Over the next 48 hours, as you process what's being revealed, try to see it through this lens of necessary ending rather than tragic loss. Ask yourself, what new possibilities open up when this particular door closes permanently? The Magician card comes through next, and this is powerful, Aries, because the Magician is you, fully stepping into your power as a conscious creator of your reality. After the death transformation, after the old has been cleared away, you're going to have this moment of recognition that you have everything you need to create what you want. The Magician stands at a table with all four suits of the tarot represented, showing that all the tools and resources are available. This is about recognizing your own skills, your own power, your own ability to manifest and create. In the context of this reading, the Magician is saying that once you're free from the deception and the dead weight, once you've processed the revelations and released what needs to end, you're going to channel your considerable Aries energy into building something new. And this time, you're going to do it consciously, deliberately, with full awareness of who you're working with and what you're creating. The Magician is a master of communication and manifestation, and I'm seeing you being very clear and direct about your intentions and expectations going forward. No more assuming people are on the same page, no more leaving things unsaid because you don't want to rock the boat. You're going to use your voice, your will, and your natural leadership abilities to shape your reality intentionally. The Magician also suggests you might be learning or developing new skills that increase your independence and capability. Whatever you thought you needed someone else for, you're going to figure out how to do yourself, or you're going to find more trustworthy collaborators who operate with the same integrity you do. The final card is the Ten of Pentacles in Aries. This is the universe showing you the ultimate outcome of this entire situation. Yes, the next 48 hours bring revelation and probably some pain as deception comes to light. Yes, there's going to be an ending and a transformation, but on the other side of all of that is lasting abundance, security, and legacy. The Ten of Pentacles represents everything the Seven of Swords was trying to steal or undermine. It's the real deal, the permanent success that's built on solid foundations and honest effort. This card often appears when someone is creating something that will outlast them, something that benefits not just themselves, but their family, their community, their legacy. I'm seeing that by removing the deceptive elements from your life and clearing away what wasn't working, you're actually making room for genuine prosperity to take root. The Ten of Pentacles suggests that what you're building in the aftermath of this revelation is going to be substantial and long-lasting. It might take the steady effort of that Knight of Pentacles to get there, and it might require the independent focus of that Nine of Pentacles. But ultimately, you're creating something truly valuable. This could manifest as financial stability and success, but it could also be about creating a solid foundation in your personal life, building relationships based on real trust and mutual respect rather than games and hidden agendas. The Ten of Pentacles is generational wealth in all its forms, including emotional wealth, relational wealth, and the wealth of living in alignment with your values. So Aries, here's what I need you to understand as you move through the next 48 hours. Someone has been deceptive, yes. Information has been withheld, narratives have been controlled, and you've been operating with incomplete or misleading information. That's going to come to light very soon, and it might initially feel like a betrayal or a setback. But the cards are showing me that this revelation is actually the catalyst for a major positive transformation in your life. You've been carrying too much, operating under false constraints, and tolerating situations that weren't serving your highest good. The universe is about to hand you the truth, not as punishment, but as liberation. Use what you learn to make powerful decisions about who and what you're going to invest your considerable energy in going forward. You're moving from a period of deception and burden toward independence, empowerment, and lasting success. The next 48 hours might shake things up, but ultimately they're shaking loose exactly what needs to go so you can step into the abundant, authentic, powerful reality that's waiting for you. Trust your instincts, honor what the revelations teach you, and don't be afraid to let what needs to die actually die. Your best reality is on the other side of this truth.